Hey guys, like you just mentioned, officials believe that all of the levees are holding up well, especially after one was repaired after some erosion began to happen. Here on the lakes, the water continues to rise as people are left helpless as it comes closer to their homes. It was supposed to be a dream home.
Nothing I can do about it, but naturally I'm worried about it.
A lakefront view, a dock stretching out into the water, and a place to relax without any worries.
When the rise in the water started, it was 37.5 inches below the concrete, and now it's about approximately 4 inches over the concrete right now.
All Kenny Jenkins can do now is prepare his home for the water.
That's all.
Helpless
Watch and wait.
to the rising tides.
We have a life's savings and work invested in that, you know, and it's tough to see like this at our age.
Inside, his furniture sits perched above the floor.
But I have most of my furniture, you know, I have it safe on concrete or cinder blocks, they call them.
One final layer of protection in case it gets as bad as he fears.
And it's going to be dip into our savings, you know, because there's no insurance.
For the first time ever, water is flowing the wrong direction over the dam on Lake Conway.
Until that slows, you know, the lake's going to keep rising, plus the possibility of additional rainfall this weekend.
The floods from the river pushing back into the lake.
Never seen it this bad.
The water level rising uncontrollably.
I've never seen it go this way. I've always seen it go that way.
And city officials here in Conway say the Arkansas River has crested, but of course the river is still pushing water into Lake Conway, which is why we see the water levels here on the lake continue to rise and potentially rise into homes.
We've never seen this before. We've never had to deal with this before, so there are a lot of unknowns.
Floodwaters rising in Little Rock. I'm Michael Aaron with more on the impacts and preparations ahead of next week's projected river crest.
With water levels still rising on the Arkansas River, there are some concerns about the levee systems in the Dardanelle area. I'm Stephanie Esquivel, and tonight I'll tell you how the Arkansas National Guard is keeping their eye on that situation and how they're ready to respond.
I know it's been a huge impact on the city and this community, and to be able to give back and help, it's grateful.
The view of the Arkansas River from the sky shows the sheer magnitude of this flooding event. Governor Asa Hutchinson and other state lawmakers took to the air today with the National Guard to get a bird's eye view of these historic levels and watch them surpassed. We have team coverage tonight from our Stephanie Esquivel and Michael Aaron on both sides of the Arkansas River. And we begin with Stephanie live in North Little Rock.
Craig, I'm here at Riverfront Park in North Little Rock, where crews have had to put up these barriers for the first time in the park's history.
In Pine Bluff, water still rising.
About 550 homes. We expect every one of those to be affected.
And in Dardanelle, code red.
The county roads, the state highways are going underwater.
Plus, Little Rock prepares to face the unknown.
It is uncharted waters, so to speak. We've never had a flood event, a high water event of this level, this magnitude at the Port of Little Rock.
In Conway, neighbors step up to help out.
We share, this place that we're in, and we all have to take care of it and take care of each other.
THV 11's team coverage of historic flooding of the Arkansas River continues tonight, as efforts to keep the water at bay are not holding up.
Historic flooding continues to have an impact across Arkansas. I'm Michael Aaron with how people here in Dardanelle are preparing for the possible impacts of a levee breach.
Houses in North Little Rock are underwater tonight as the banks of the Arkansas River spill over into neighborhoods. Sandbags are often no match for the rising floods, while some families are evacuating, fearing the water could spill into their homes. Our Mark Salinger joins us live in North Little Rock tonight, where the worst is yet to come. Mark?
Hey David, the water behind me here on the river is running very quickly as concerns for more flooding grow. Officials are confident that the levee will not fail. They are confident in its structure. However, for many, the damage has already been done.
I'm here for 12 years. Never been like this.
Larry Campbell is left with little more than a choice.
It's tough. It's really tough.
What to save and what to leave behind.
You have to just make a decision because, hey, you're going to lose everything.
His house in Willow Beach is one of more than a dozen in the neighborhood that have been drowned by the floods. As the water rises, it brings with it pain.
It's a very sad day in my life when I pull up and see my home underwater. But it's okay. We'll build back.
The road behind me comes to an end as the water continues to take over more and more land. Houses like the one behind me are completely surrounded in water. Sandbags are simply no match. At this point, it would be better to take a boat home than to drive. In the midst of packing away valuables, neighbors use pieces of wood to measure Mother Nature's wrath.
It's got another 10 inches to go.
We took a walk with North Little Rock Mayor Joe Smith Saturday as he surveyed the damage.
It's going to get worse. I think we've got at least 10 more inches before we hit the crest.
Tickets, please.
Down the street at Dickey Stevens Park, water fills the parking lot as grounds crews repair a small sinkhole that opened up on the field. Pumps are working overtime to keep the water out.
If those pumps weren't there, we'd probably have a swimming pool.
I don't have words.
Gone are houses and cars.
It's just really, really, really sad.
Washed away with less tangible items, like the memories made inside a home.
We'll get through it. We'll build it back.
And again, officials are confident that the levees will hold up. They say they don't really have any concerns at this moment. Reporting live in North Little Rock, I'm Mark Salinger, THV 11 News.
That levee is probably the biggest concern here in Dardanelle right now. Here with me is Jimmy Witt. He is the mayor here of Dardanelle. Mr. Witt, tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing this morning. I know dealing with that levee is not easy.
No, Jordan, we are all night last night and this morning we're going to be watching, I guess you'd call it the creeping of the water. It's steadily moving towards the south part of town.
THV 11's Melissa Zigowitz is live in Atkins, where she spoke with farmers about what they are doing to protect their property.
Yeah, Craig, Amanda, this right here is the Arkansas River levee, and I'm told this is the highest this water has ever been. Now, just across from this levee is thousands of acres of farmland, and if that water gets any higher, this area will flood.
That is all farmland, as far as you can see.
To say Dow Dollar is concerned about floodwaters is an understatement.
Way past very concerned.
And THV 11's Rolly Hoyt is there tonight, where flooding accelerated yesterday.
Hey, Amanda and Craig, a couple of days ago, we used a 4x4 to go down this road here, and it got us right all the way down to the riverbank. Well, today, we're about 2 miles farther up on higher ground, and we needed a boat to try and go find people who were trying to stay dry.
You can barely see the street sign down there on the corner. Can you see it?
A wet commute for Jana Green Forbash and her farmhand Steve, from hands on the till to hands on the tiller this week along the flooded Arkansas.
The guys have been coming to work, so we've got some work going on. So
even with the floodwater,
work doesn't stop. Yeah.
It's been like this for a day or so at the bottom of Old Sandy Road. The river is well past its banks, and a creek is pushed right over a levee at the Mayflower wastewater plant.
This is why you don't swim in floodwaters. Over there, a sewage treatment plant. Out there, a cow pasture. We all know what cows do in the field, and look at how close this water is to mixing.
The city has been keeping tabs on the plant. The power is off all along the area. We tried to check on Easterwood Point Road, but Entergy crews are trying to see if they could send more juice out there. Along Highway 365 at the county line, the water is going the wrong way. That's heading out of the river back into Lake Conway. Everywhere you look, signs that things are not normal.
My dad's been in business for over 45 years. Steve, the shop's been out here we moved since 95. This is probably the worst I've seen it.
But the cows are keeping quiet and the farm goes on. A better fate than a lot of people all along the river right now.
So we're really fortunate because I know a lot of people that have water in their homes and stuff like that. So we're lucky.
You know, we want to echo something that Melissa Zigowitz just said a moment ago. Barricades are going up all over this flood zone on roads, big and small. Some are manned by sheriff's deputies, like the one about a mile from here on Lolly Road. But even if they're not, do not go around them. There are hidden dangers around every bend right now. Live in Mayflower, Rolly Hoyt, THV 11 News.
While the river won't reach record levels in Little Rock, major flooding is still expected. City leaders brief the public ahead of next week's crest.
THV 11's Michael Aaron is live with more on preparations in the capital city. Michael.
Yeah, Amanda, Craig, we're underneath Interstate 30 in downtown Little Rock right now. The Clinton Center pedestrian bridge is closed, as is the Two Rivers pedestrian bridge and the Big Dam Bridge, and you can see why behind me. The rushing river with those levels continuing to rise here. Now, the city is monitoring several problem areas, including Riverdale. Water is already covering Rebsamen Golf Course, and it will continue rising ahead of the 29-foot crest expected next Wednesday. That forecasted date and water level shifted upward today, which just shows this situation is still developing. And some good news from Public Works today. Despite all of this, they don't expect major impacts to homes and other buildings in the city, assuming no major changes in the forecast or any levee issues. That said, the mayor stresses this is still a dangerous situation.
We want to stress that safety is a top priority for the city, and we want to be proactive in the event that things get worse.
The city is filling sandbags and distributing those at the Public Works office on J.E. Davis Drive from 6:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily. And as of this afternoon, a self-service 24-hour location is open at War Memorial Park. You just need to bring shovels to that location. And now the city of Little Rock has issued an emergency declaration with the governor's office. And as the city works to determine the scope of all of this and they try to obtain federal funding, emergency management officials ask anyone who has damage to make sure that they report that to the city. You can do so by calling LRPD's phone reporting line, and we'll post that phone number on THV11.com. We're live downtown tonight. Michael Aaron, THV11 News.
Nathan, thank you. We know you have lots of questions about the flooding, so 11 Listens is here. The two of the most common questions we get is the airport going to flood, and are any major roads closed? So let's start with the airport. Airport staff have been updating social media daily. They do not expect any impact from the flooding. They say their teams will continue to monitor it as long as the river remains high. We've also heard a lot of rumors and questions about road closures. There are plenty of state highways closed around Arkansas, but no interstates are closed. Remember, you can always check iDrive Arkansas to not only see road closures, but you can also see their live traffic cameras. They also have a call center set up to help you navigate the detours. You can find that number on THV11.com, as well as an article that we are constantly updating about county and city road closures. So we'll be here for you to answer your questions as the water moves downriver. You can ask us on Facebook or Twitter, or you can email us at 11listens@thv11.com. You can put in the subject line flood zone questions, and we will get you your answers.
Hey guys, yeah, we're out here at Toadsuck on Highway 60 Bridge. We're getting a very close look at these floodwaters at the river, actually. Go ahead and take a look what we're looking at. This is probably as close as we're gonna get. These floodwaters continue to rise, expected to reach another foot by Sunday, which that is when the river is expected to crest. I'll just take a look at this water. It's rapidly moving along the river, very dangerous currents. Now, this is why police have put barricades out along the river. Many people coming out here, jumping those barricades to get a close look at this historic flooding. Those barricades are out there for a reason, you guys, to keep you safe. These waters are moving rapidly, so be careful. Take heed to all of these warnings and stay away from the river. We'll go ahead and send it back to you guys.
Stay off the water as well.
Yeah, powerful images from Toadsuck. You see how fast the water is rushing there. I mean, you don't want to be anywhere near that. I remember you said, Marielle, you put 1 foot in, anything, you could just be taken away.
And the debris too could just knock you unconscious instantly.
Yeah, the debris, the displacement of animals, there's just so much that goes into flood concern. On top of it being just dangerous to be next to. That's why those closures are in place. That's why there are barricades. Do not go around those barricades. Unfortunately, near Fort Smith, we already did see that this flooding has caused a death. So definitely want to be careful with this. You want to take those precautions. And I know the Arkansans are prepped for this. We've been preparing for the past week and a half since we started talking about this. And where Jordan was, that is a record for that area. So along the Arkansas River, these are locations going from west to southeast at Dardanelle, Morrilton, and Toadsuck, all record-breaking levels. Could still climb about a few inches, close to a foot in some locations. It kind of just depends on where you're at, but is expected to crest on Sunday. So this could still get a little worse before it starts to get better. Little Rock now at major flood stage as of this morning, reaching over 27 feet, 27 considered major flood stage. It will still climb another 2 feet. At least that's what the forecast calls for. Not record breaking, but still significant, that is for sure. At Pine Bluff, major flood stage, close to 48 feet. It'll make it to 51 as we approach early parts of next week. Pendleton also expected to reach major flood stage by June the 7th. So this is far from over, especially when we're talking about so much water making its way down the Arkansas. We are going to see that the water crest, but then it still has to go back down to its normal level. That's going to take a few weeks, and then cleanup efforts after that. We are not out of it even after it crests. This will be ongoing. That's why these river flood warnings that the National Weather Service puts on, normally we say they expire at a certain point. These are just ongoing for now. So we'll talk a little bit more about what you can expect the rest of the weekend coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you, Marielle. Meanwhile, federal emergency aid is on its way to people impacted by the historic Arkansas River flooding. President Trump signed an emergency declaration yesterday after speaking with Governor Asa Hutchinson and other Arkansas lawmakers this week. The declaration allows FEMA to coordinate all disaster relief efforts in hopes of reducing the impact of the flooding.
As we head into the weekend, the Arkansas River will continue to spread and flood, and THV 11 will continue to bring you the latest. And be sure to download our THV 11 app and turn on breaking news alerts. And follow our team on social media as this historic situation unfolds slowly and
very slowly.
And
yeah, like I showed you earlier.
Tragically in some cases.
Yeah, it may be 2 to 3 weeks before some of these areas start seeing it even start to go down. So this is going to be a problem for a while. And of course, our social media all over the weekend will be all over that. Here's a look at your forecast. At least the weather's not a concern. 91 degrees tomorrow, 89 on Sunday. Small chances for scattered to isolated storms. Better storm chances on Tuesday, but nothing widespread severe is expected.
All right. Go Hogs over the weekend.
Hogs.
We have
Go
that
Hogs.
bright spot we hope to look forward to. Thank you for watching. Keep us on for the latest updates.
There's always baseball.
Stephanie, thank you. Right as we came on the air at 6 o'clock, the Faulkner County Sheriff made it official. They want the people who live on this strip of land behind me right along the Arkansas River, they want them out as the river comes up over the banks. We talked to some of those homeowners today. There's already a shelter set up in Conway. It's for humans and for animals. But for the homeowners that we spoke with today, they never imagined, even living so close to the river, they'd have to consider such a scenario.
See these poles on the side of the road? These are so when the water is high enough, you'll be able to tell where the road is.
Those markers will be for boats and high clearance emergency vehicles. You won't be able to get down Jones Lane by car for a while.
We've already got a sheriff's deputy out at the front of this road on the dry end that's stopping cars unless you live here or unless you're coming here to help these people. You can't get in here.
And it's coming in fast. Backyards that have been several feet above the roaring Arkansas River are now shallows. The riverbank is gone. Docks are islands. Back porches are becoming docks.
This is just crazy high. This isn't just it could, when we had the house put here, we had it put up higher than it's ever been before by a couple of feet. This is going to be like 5 or 6 feet higher. And just couldn't foresee that.
Here's why this flood is different. Back in 2015, all the houses along the riverbank here saw water come up to their basements, to their foundations. This house is on pretty high ground, but it's threatened this time because the river is moving so fast, it's eating into this soft riverbank, threatening to pull it right into the water.
A flood from the bottom up is to me scarier than a flood from the rain down.
The people who live here are coming to terms with it and planning accordingly.
But if you know anybody that has a rent house for 2-3 months, please.
Now, just to the north of us here up in Conway, they have set up that shelter as we mentioned. They've also sent out red alert text messages to people in vulnerable areas. County officials feel like they have a handle on the places that have caused them concern in the past. It's going to be those places that they can't foresee that have them crossing fingers and saying prayers ahead of a very long week. Live in Mayflower, Rolly Hoyt, THV 11 News.